And we are live.
Food Court, the movie podcast and Twitch stream where Sean
And John.
And Michael.
the Michael watch it,
The
talk
Michael.
shit, and most importantly eat shit. We are the law. You cannot stop us. Because if you do, we have absolute authority and we can kill at will. We are dangerous men. We have a license to kill granted to us by MI6. We're dangerous men.
Actually, if there's anyone out there and there's any technical difficulties, will you please stop us?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, please.
If you're listening right now along with us and you hear just like a wheezing noise or a high-pitched screech, just send us a message in the chat and say, we hear a high-pitched screech.
Or like last week, a subtle delay.
Yeah, subtle, echo.
Yeah, something
like it's a very special episode where all of us took acid and there's just a subtle acid delay flashback.
Well, that one was for the real fans because they got to hear the episode twice.
All at once.
Right, in a row.
I'm going to go get the papers. Get the papers.
We're going to talk about Tenet, but before we do that, we have to talk about food. We don't do it often, and I want to bring it back to our attention. This podcast is not about movies. Who cares about movies? They're stupid. What it is about is food, and I want to talk to you fellas and to all the kill donkeys about something important to me. I want to talk to you about the Sonic Blast. This is the question I have for you and the kill donkeys. I have my own theories.
Okay.
Whoa, this guy.
Tell me.
I'm on 88 ounces of Sonic unsweet tea.
88?
Yeah, I may not make it all the way through the episode. Yeah, that's an inhuman amount. That's a diabetic amount of unsweet tea.
Yeah, you're
a Mormon amount.
Mid-podcast. I want to know, what is the best Sonic Blast? Do you have theories?
Ooh, that's a really good one. Oh,
well, I had a theory, and I thought it was strong until I know what Sean's about to do, because Sean basically inverted my favorite Sonic Blast by introducing me to a different kind of Sonic Blast. One that I think you might especially enjoy, Michael. The Oreo Sonic Blast.
Wow, that sounds delicious. I don't know why you pointed me out specifically.
The reason I'm pointing Michael out is because Michael once taught me about a really amazing movie snack.
I did, but can I pause you right there? We are getting feedback, live feedback from the kill donkeys.
I may have to restart
Sean's volume could come up some.
My
is
volume
what I'm getting.
could come up some?
Yes, just a.
I feel like I'm always too loud.
Some.
What about now?
Oh, when you said feedback, I thought you meant like terrifying Bane sounds, like.
What about now? Do I sound loud enough now, kill donkeys? Thank you.
Kill donkeys.
Check.
Let us know. How does Sean sound? Do you like the way he sounds? Do you like his voice?
It's weird because my perception of the sound is totally different. I sound incredibly loud in my headphones, but I guess I am quiet to the humans.
I don't know. This whole thing is new to me. I've never.
The important part.
Anyways, now
ice cream. Tell me about ice cream, Michael. Tell me about it right fucking now.
Well, first I interrupted John telling a very good story.
John, tell me about Michael right fucking now.
I asked him for a good snack, and he told me to get a container of cream cheese and a package of Oreos, and to mix those two things together.
Wow.
And it's important to note that this isn't some bit. He was dead fucking serious.
No.
And I don't think I spoke to him for 3 weeks after that. This is early in our friendship, and I was like, man, this fucking kid's nuts. I'm out.
It sounds almost like a cheesecake, like you're making a cheesecake in your mouth.
I asked follow-up questions, like, to figure out what the fuck was wrong, and he was like, no, it's so good. I invented it.
It's so good. Yeah.
It
really is quite good. I did not invent it. The thing is, it's a process that's like, it's halfway to a cake ball, like a Oreo cream cheese cake ball, but you just don't make them into balls. You just eat them before you freeze them.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the entire recipe.
Are you doing any dipping?
Or fingers.
I'm not.
Is there
disgusting claw hands.
My claw. My claw.
But yeah, the Oreo Sonic Blast is the best one. It dethroned my Butterfinger Blast.
The Butterfinger is good. This is my theory. Since I need to tell everyone, my theory is Oreo Blast with chocolate syrup. That is, in my opinion, the very best. But I'm trying to go through all of them so I can figure it out. I need to start making a journal, but I want to figure out which is the very best. So far, there's something special about the Oreos. The texture is really good. The flavor is really good. In my head, I'm like, oh, the M&Ms, that'd be perfect. But they get cold, and they are like rocks. It is like chewing rocks. Delicious rocks, but like whole rocks.
Delicious.
They're tasty rocks, but it feels like at any moment, all of my teeth could shatter into a million pieces.
And I hope they do.
Thank you.
I would like to see
that. Then I could be like John David Washington in this feature film, Tenet. His teeth are pulled all the way out. Don't they get pulled? I think.
Yeah.
Yes. Luckily, you can't see it, though.
But it's a Nolan movie, so it's, sterilized, and we don't even get any, like, hot tooth on the ground action.
No, they don't even show the teeth. They show, like,
They give him bloodshot eyes. Bloodshot eyes equals all the teeth pulled out your head.
Hey, if I ever get all my teeth put out, I better have bloodshot eyes. Otherwise.
Oh, yeah. Otherwise, you'd be as mad as me at John for saying that Oreo Blast is the best blast, and clearly the Reese's Blast is the best
Thank you, Michael, for coming in with an answer. Now, let me ask you this, Michael. Are you adding anything other than Reese's, or you're just saying Reese's, pure Reese's, and that's it?
The only thing I would add is extra Reese's.
Okay. I'm doing this tomorrow.
It's third best blast. Bronze Blast.
Third.
If you have a favorite blast and you're listening, just tweet at us at Food Court Cast. We love hearing what your favorite blast is. If you want to tag Sonic, you can, but they won't like it.
Make sure you get it from Sonic, preferably from like a roller skating hostess named Luanda.
Yes.
Don't order up through the app. Give that woman cash money with a tip.
Yes.
Make her day.
What if her name was Rolanda? Like with her roller skates.
Antiperspirant.
Do the right thing. Don't be like Christopher Nolan. Don't be pragmatic. Don't put your needs above those of the rest of the world. Use cash money. Give Rolanda a tip. Give Luanda Vision a hefty tip. Make her day. She brought you a bronze metal blast.
She deserves
it. Do this. Now, who has drawn the short Sonic straw, and has to do the goddamn summary judgment of this movie?
Oh,
that's gonna be hard.
It's been a while since I've done it, so I guess
have at it.
This is what happens.
Now I'm giving you like this is an episode I'm on, so you have like 3 minutes to do this.
I'll get through it. It's pretty easy. Okay, you know what happens in Tenet?
No.
We meet this fellow. His name is the protagonist, because who knows why. And you know what happens? He's a secret agent, and they pull out his teeth, and he takes a CIA pill to die. And you know what? It was all a trick to see if he's a real badass. And you know what? He is a badass. And what happens next? He hangs out in a windmill. And we're not exactly sure why. I think because he's moving backward through time at the same time. But that is not important. So he has a secret mission. And you know how he figures out how to do it? Well, he's got 2 things to learn. He's got the word Tenet. And he's got 2 hands clasped together like some kind of David Lynch bullshit.
It's like hey, when you used to make a vagina with your hands in elementary school.
This should not count against my 3 minutes.
The church and the steeple and the vagina.
This is an interruption.
The vag and the people. Look at all the people inside of the vag. He's using all these clues. He goes to India because
there's no goddamn clues.
There's so many clues.
No. People just tell each other things.
Yes.
People tell each other the story.
Yes.
In well-lit rooms.
This is a Christopher Nolan movie, so everything must be told to you, which is
Multiple
kind
times.
of good because otherwise,
yeah,
you would have no clue what's happening. I think.
Yeah, how would you visually explain inversion?
I mean, they sort of do it, but I think if you watch that, you wouldn't go, "Oh, I get that that is a backwards person and forwards person."
Yeah.
Okay, so he's in India. He meets Robert Pattinson, who apparently is a British guy now, and and they're hanging out. Robert Pattinson has secrets. He already knows a little bit too much about our hero. Pretty weird, isn't it? And they do many missions. It's mostly a series of cool missions. One mission. Wait, what is the first mission? Okay, first mission.
Reverse bungee jumping.
Yes, first mission is reverse bungee jumping. They put a gun to a lady's head, and they find out that these bullets that are backwards bullets actually belong to Kenneth Branagh, evil
First
Russian
mention
man.
of the backwards bullets, by the way, folks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Reverse backwards bullets.
Reverse
They go backwards. There's a bunch of shit that goes backwards. Even after having seen it twice, I only sort of understand why. But for some reason, some things go backwards. Now we know. And so he follows this clue, which is the Indian lady telling him to go to this guy, and he finds Kenneth Branagh, who is evil, and has a wife who is perhaps twice as tall as him.
Big Bird.
Yes.
We shall call her Big Bird.
Played
twice
by
as tall, half as young.
She's wonderful and
half as
statuesque. She looks sort of inhuman. She is like so beautiful and it's sort of annoying. But nonetheless, she is also a great actress, which is a good combo. If you can be talented and beautiful, which shouldn't happen in general, usually pisses me off. But I like it in this movie.
She's a great actress?
Yes.
Huh.
I mean, compared to John David Washington, you gotta admit that.
Inversion.
This movie, continue.
Okay. And you know what? This Russian man, he made
Russian Kenneth Branagh.
Yes, he made his salt.
That was wild.
He is a businessman, and he did his business in getting radioactive gold somehow. And he, as we find out later, has been getting messages from the future. He is a bad boy, and this is going way out of time, but I don't know how to describe it otherwise. He is a Russian bad boy who's an evil supervillain who's trying to destroy everything. We only find this like 2 hours later.
The John David Washington reality.
Yes. Tenet. That's all I have for you is a word, Tenet. That's hand signal, which is two hands interlocking. Other stuff happens. There's another heist. They have to. They meet Elizabeth Debicki, and she needs to get a painting out of a place because it is incriminating, and she could go to jail and not see her son ever again. Which results in another totally badass heist, where they have to go into
road heist.
Yes. No, this is pre-road heist. This is the painting
airport heist. Die Hard 2 heist.
Drawing.
Yes.
So we have like Die Hard 1 heist, Die Hard 2 heist, Speed heist.
Yes.
Yes.
Black Hawk Down heist.
Yeah.
Under Siege heist.
Ooh. And that's reverse Under Siege heist.
Okay.
It's all happening at the same time too.
It's a
many reverse heists. Yeah, it's just a bunch of mini heist movies, and there's also time shift.
Yeah.
Are you finished? Did you finish?
No, I'm nearly there.
No, not yet.
They find this is what we really find out that's important. In another dump of exposition, Kenneth Branagh is dying, and he's such an asshole. He's a complete asshole. He wants to annihilate the entire world. Isn't that rude? He wants to annihilate the entire world.
He's the rudest
because
Russian
he's dying, and his plan is for some reason there's a reverser machine, and in what happens is it starts to destroy the past. The people from the future think this is a good idea. We don't know why. And then I think we're finally at the speed heist. They do speed heist, and then we're
Mm-hmm.
at the Black Hawk Down heist, which is really exciting because this is a pincer. Wait, a temporal pincer? Is that what it is? Yes.
Don't.
Yeah,
Oh.
temporal
No,
pincer.
this is good. This is important. This is a temporal pincer, and they're doing two different heists at the same time, one forwards and one backwards.
Crazy.
They are meeting in the middle. I still have no clue how that works either, but it kicks ass. And then Robert Pattinson said, "Here's looking at you, kid," and that's the end of the movie, essentially. And that's it. We watched the movie.
Tenet.
John looks confused.
We did watch it. Well, one of our kill donkeys, Mike, Analog Mike said, "This is like me trying to describe one of my dreams," and it did feel.
And I think he was going for like a dream-like state.
Yeah.
The only way I could describe this movie to someone involves referencing other movies, which isn't the best, but to me it really seemed like Shane Carruth's Primer, starring James Bond.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I know what Sean just described sounded impenetrable and bad, but it's not. The movie is good.
Not at all.
It's just it's Christopher Nolan, so it's a guy who's desperate to seem intelligent.
Yeah.
But is a hell of an artist.
Oh, yeah.
Failing to seem intelligent.
Yes.
If you watch this movie and feel intelligent, you're either way smarter than me or way dumber than me. I think it could be either one.
It could be both.
Yeah, it could be both.
It could be like Flowers for Algernon, halfway in the middle, where you have
Benjamin Button.
Yes, you have Benjamin Button, but with a brain, and your brain is kind of turns off and on. It ceases to work and it begins to work. We need to talk about all the best parts of this movie. Michael, you've been notoriously silent. Everybody's talking about it. Tell us about the best part of this movie.
Oh my gosh, I have a record-breaking 1, 2, 3, 4 euros. That's 4 euros. That's 4 trips to the food.
2 if you're banging, as I like to do.
Ooh, you do double.
No sides, double euro. You guys ever do that?
Ooh.
Salad, get out of here. 2
no.
euros, no salad.
It's insane. These are your ham euros. Oh,
so you get these kind of arteries.
Yes, Michelin.
These meat pups.
Yeah.
Michael, tell us what's good about this movie.
Okay, there's a lot of good about this movie, but my absolute favorite part was when you realize. Okay, so earlier on, the protagonist fights, like the doorway to the past, like opens back up before he understands what any of this is, and a like SWAT looking guy comes out and they start like fighting in reverse, and then later on he has to go back in time to that place, and then you start piecing together. You're like, oh my gosh, he's that guy. And that was like my favorite. I was like, this is crazy. It was great. I loved it. So that was my absolute favorite. But I have more. But I'll switch over to you, Sean.
I get one? Okay.
Yeah.
This I got a bunch of, as usual, but my most favorite is, for me, the obvious favorite that everyone must love. Our evil villain, Kenneth Branagh, gets shot in the chest, and he gets dumped off the side of a boat. And as he tumbles, he like hits a railing.
Oh yeah!
He just really bangs against a railing, and then his lifeless body tumbles into the sea. And it's just so fucking awesome. Because
that was some Jason Voorhees slapping someone's head against a tree in a sleeping bag level violence.
Yes, just
it was
brutal.
Great.
He's
and in a film where we see like 600 people get killed with no bloodshed or no like. Just a bunch of Wilhelm screams. It was a little refreshing to be like, oh shit!
Yes,
exactly.
He gets shot, and there's a tiny hole in his chest that doesn't seem to bleed. It is like kind of a dark red, so you assume it is inside of him. And then when he hits it, it goes clang and falls into the sea, and it's just wonderful. And later they're
watching this movie really is like playing like the GoldenEye video game.
Yeah,
everybody's getting blown away and just no blood or anything ever. All headshots.
Yes.
They've got the golden bullet.
Yeah. Do you have a most
I love that scene.
Oh, sorry, Michael. I interrupted you, and I
just love that. All I'm saying is I love that part. I was like, oh my god.
What sound did it make? Was it like a thunk? Was it a?
It's kind of a plunk.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I should have been a metal clang as a kid.
Ding splash.
It would have been great to like get some Branagh Foley in there, and he could be like, blah, Russian, blah. One last gasp.
I am the bad guy.
He has taken some heat for his role in this movie.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't say he was. I didn't hate him, but I do think like maybe Nolan's obsession with him has gone too far. And I mean, just put Michael Caine in that role.
Yeah.
Just move Michael Caine out of the like butler in the restaurant, the Alfred in the restaurant role. Stick him in there, or
Alfred's in the restaurant.
My favorite thing, other than this just being like the slickest, sickest James Bond movie that never was, because that's really my thing. Like, I heard mostly bad things about this movie.
Yes.
And went into it kind of prepared to be disappointed. And all of the things that people said that were bad about the movie were true. Too much exposition, audio nightmares again. I know he saw Tree of Life like once and saw that scene where Brad Pitt can't hear anything over the roar of the airplane. But Nolan, you're making goddamn sci-fi movies. You don't need to try to be that profound all the time and no one ends up understanding what the fuck is going on. It was confusing. It's a sexless, bloodless affair, but it is cool guys doing cool shit, photographed in the coolest way possible, and that's no amount of lack of a discernible plot or audio is going to make me not enjoy that.
They can't.
I love Michael Mann movies. Michael Mann makes the same movie over and over and over again. I continue to watch it. And now, when Michael Mann dies, Christopher Nolan is just going to make a British version of the same movie, and I'm going to enjoy it.
Of course.
This is probably the coolest Nolan movie.
Oh, it is very cool.
I thought it was very cool.
I don't think it is the best, but it is the coolest.
Yeah, there you go.
I also agree with everything that is wrong with it. There are tons of things that are wrong with it, but there are the same things that are wrong with every single Nolan. Every single Nolan movie has too much exposition.
Yeah, if that's going to piss you off,
you can't hear anything in any of his movies.
No, there's people in masks. There's people in masks who are indiscernible. Yeah. Now, could this movie have used Tom Hardy? Absolutely, it could have used Tom Hardy.
Oh yes.
But I'm not going to stand in the way of Black James Bond, and that also brings me to the best part of the movie. Nolan's movies have been these like sexless, like bizarre dry hump farces. Like no romance ever in the history of a Nolan movie until now. Because we have the scintillating bromance of John David Booty Washington and the real star of this movie, Bobby Pattinson.
The
scene stealer.
Steals the show. He stole the whole show.
He's like doing like a weird Christopher Hitchens voice, but it totally works.
Yes.
He made me think the other guy wasn't very good.
I don't know if he is good, man.
Wow, he's way better. Yeah, maybe not.
He's better than he was in Black Klansman, and he's certainly he was a college athlete, like a running back. He almost went pro. So his action scenes do look awesome.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's good enough. Like Keanu Reeves is, a fucking Australopithecine, but we like him because he can do cool gun stuff.
Yeah.
And if John David Washington can do cool gun stuff and run around doing credible athletic shit, that's good enough for me in my action movies, to be quite frank.
Doing wonderful pull-ups, just doing tons and tons of pull-ups.
Just stick Robert Pattinson in there next to him. That's how you solve such an issue.
Yeah.
That's how you
make them fall in love in front of our eyes.
If there was a way that there could be a black Tom Hardy, they don't want there to not be a black guy in the lead, because that would be like, hey,
we'll cancel you right
one
now.
Black guy out of this? I don't want that. Is there?
It's a black guy in a Nolan movie by George.
Yes.
Who'd have
Is
thought?
there a black guy that we want instead of Denzel's son?
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman. He's been
Bring him
canceled
back.
too. We can't put him in there.
I am a protagonist.
Kaluuya. I would watch
I have been
Kaluuya
cancelled.
as this mostly because
Can
his other role
Kaluuya
is
do
awesome.
the physicality of it? I wonder. He's
I'm
pretty
not
ripped and
sure.
jacked.
He's kind of ripped.
I didn't think like Denzel Jr. was
Get
bad. He just
No.
he's just like he was nothing. He was nothing in the scenes where he's supposed to like we're supposed to believe that him and Big
Yeah.
Bird fall in love on some level.
Big
I think
Bird.
so, yeah.
I mean, he risks
I didn't
literal time and
feel it.
space to save her.
Yes.
But I didn't get that.
No.
But then again, you know, like
Yeah.
I didn't think fucking Arnold fell in love with Radon Chong and Commando either. Like
No.
what I'm saying, like broad strokes, all the things that people are nitpicking these Nolan movies for are valid.
Yeah.
And if that's truly what's going to make you not enjoy his movies, then I think you should probably just stop going to his movies.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
should
I don't
never
watch
watch
them.
any of his movies.
If you want to see like the big artiste do his thing on the biggest canvas that most people aren't painting on any longer, then you go do that. Yeah, like this is kind of a true false scenario for folks.
Yeah, I think if they had seen it in IMAX, more people they would have liked it more. I think it would, especially with the sound design and stuff. I think it would have been like, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, none of us were lucky enough to see it in IMAX, but all of us were lucky enough to see Dunkirk in IMAX. And can attest to the fact that it is like a life-changing event where the sound design is physical. Like it is not to be heard, it is to be felt rumble through your chest.
And Dunkirk is where his refusal to have any like audible dialogue ever is fine, because that's essentially a silent picture.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, like I probably like Tenet more than Dunkirk, but Dunkirk is a much better film because Dunkirk is like just strong storytelling, whereas in every other Nolan movie, I mean, there's probably 10 fucking minutes of spoken exposition in this movie.
Yeah.
And sometimes
between every
yeah, I mean, it's like set piece exposition that doesn't really clarify much. Set piece exposition that doesn't clarify much. Like I just had to, especially the Black Hawk Down on Tatooine scene. Yeah. Like I had no fucking idea what was even happening.
No,
we'll get to. Should I shift to my low man?
No, we have many more years.
Okay, well I'll get to my low man. We'll get back to this tip.
Yes.
And we need to go to the kill donkeys. They've been rattling off like psychotic birds in a cage.
They probably hate this movie because almost everyone, but I think the three people.
I think the kill donkeys will like Tenet. I think the kill donkeys will enjoy Tenet.
We'll see.
I have faith in them.
Well, at least Analog Mike said, "Oh, the movie is great," so we know at least that's one person that liked it. But okay, I'm gonna go through the Euros that we have. Chad said, "I loved when he asked for the food to go in the fancy restaurant, and they said certainly not." Which I like that too.
Until that pandemic hit, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Until that pandemic hit, then they'll give it to you to go.
We still need the money.
Please.
Oh, you can't. I can't order my fancy ramen to go in this restaurant. Well, how about now? How about during COVID time?
Sorry. We're calling you out too, Jay. You on blast. Which that was always stupid. Come on. If I want to heat up my delicious food later, who gives a shit? It doesn't matter. Okay. Analog Mike said, "I like a lot of things, but my two favorites, my two Euros are the score and the airport heist," which I agree. I like both of those things.
Mike is right. While we're talking about it, the score is like a get pumped score. There's just like shit, and it's the same guy who did Black Panther, and we must say he should be canceled for doing Black Panther because he's like a white Swedish guy or something like that. So we should retroactively ruin his life for doing the Black Panther soundtrack. But since he made it, we can praise him for this. Especially one key which I love. It's called Freeport. If you get it on your Spotify or whatever.
Yes.
And it is the one that is that when Gary and I, my good friend Gary, former co-host of this show, and also when I watched it today, I keep going through it over and over in my head is the ding 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 ding. Like it just, I don't know what it is about that specific like skittering weird insanity. I just can't get it out of my head. I just keep going.
We just call those Zimmers now.
Yes.
Zimmers, yeah. Hello, Zimmer. Yeah, I love that. There was one, the editing I liked a lot, and there was one specific part where they're talking about, where she's like, do you know what a Freeport is? Or what Freeport is? And then it like cuts to like them like mid heist. You know how it does that sometimes. But then that music comes in. I was like, oh, that was really well done. So there's some really good editing.
You're right.
I don't. Did I say? Let's see. Oh, one last one. Gary off the grid. That's
that
right.
Was the Gary I was just
He's
talking
back
about.
on
hey, Gary.
tonight. Yes. He said, "Hi, Gary." He said, "I like how they seem to really trudge and struggle when going in reverse," and I agree. It's wild.
Yes. I think they pull off the backward stuff pretty well. In that,
certainly better than the first time they tried it in. What was it? What was the other inversion movie? What was their test run of this movie? I'm trying to remember the name of it.
No idea.
Inception. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was the wall fighting in this one was even better than the wall fighting in the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah. The wall fighting kicks ass in this. Also, I think they do a pretty good job of like cutting, because obviously there can't be a person moving backwards and a person moving forwards unless they do cool CG stuff, which I think they do a few times. Yeah. But mostly I think they're just cutting between different shots of people going backwards and people going forward.
I mean, the thing they always say about, famously they say about Nolan is that, you know, he's got less effect shots than your average romantic comedy. So I'm sure they found some sort of, you know, in-camera technique to do this stuff.
Oh, I wonder.
Yeah,
which is maybe they only like exposed one quarter of the film and then just ran it backwards.
That's why I like it. I get like sort of offended when people like write Nolan off entirely. I get it. He is kind of like a teenager, like a stunted growth type dude making flicks, but like sometimes you need to let Lenny loose, man. Let him paint, because nobody else is going to do this. Everyone else is going to, you know, they're going to blow up the airport with you know, Adobe After Effects. Christopher Nolan is going to get a Boeing 747 and drive that motherfucker into an airport hangar.
Yes, and run over cars in the process.
Yeah,
run over like 15 cars. Oh, it's so good.
That was beautiful.
Okay, I have 3 more euros.
That stuff always looks
ahead,
better.
Michael?
That's just stuff just like always looks better when they try to do like it just doesn't feel as
it feels like nothing. When you see a fake plane crash into a fake building, it's just like, who fucking cares? But when you see this actual plane crash into an actual building, you're like, holy fuck.
Holy fuck.
This crazy motherfucker crashed a plane into a building. Okay, more euros. 1, as we are first introduced to the protagonist. It's just his fucking name. He ejects a cartridge from his gun and catches it, and you instantly go, oh yeah, this guy's fucking awesome. I love this movie. I want to watch this movie a million fucking times because he's so fucking cool. And then it like seamlessly transitions into one of my favorite parts of the whole thing, like the first pre-heist, a terrorist act where people are kicking instruments and killing people and getting gassed.
Crazy.
Let the cellos hit the floor. Let the cellos hit the floor.
They're pumping shit up, and you have no idea what the fuck's happening, and it got me totally pumped. Okay, 2 more euros, and that's it. Kitchen fight. Kicks out.
Oh, that was my favorite.
Cheese grater, motherfucker.
Exactly.
It Axel Balls Mahoney versus Axel Rotten shit.
Yes, they were in a no holds barred match, and he just hits him a few times with the bottom of the cheese grater, which almost hurts more. Like the idea of getting hit with like 2 small metal edges of cheese
don't
grater.
do that.
Oh, and then so at the side,
then you grate them up.
And finally, this is my final favorite. I think.
What?
I think, and I know this is not true. It's just I don't know anything about boats. but I think Christopher Nolan invented boats, right? Did he invent those boats? Those can't be real boats that real people sail on.
I
There's
guess
these
not.
crazy boats, and they come out of the water, and they have like underwater fins.
Those are real.
Are those billionaires' boats that I just haven't heard of?
I have.
Really? What is it named?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's named TENET.
Holy shit! Was it
Roman Polanski's TENET?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. I borrowed it from him.
Man, I bet Roman Polanski's had some fucked up boat parties, man.
Yeah. Oh, you have no idea.
Boy. Especially now that he's in Europe.
More like little girl, I think.
Yes. All right.
Well, I've got some crazy news.
What happened?
I gotta go. No, the Analog Mike has broken down how they made all the effect, like the reverse stuff. If you want to hear it, it's pretty interesting. I was like, what? Okay, he said they 1. moved the camera backwards, 2. ran the film through the camera backwards, and 3. had the actors moving in reverse and actually move backwards in real life. And then he said that way, when the film was then ran forwards, the reverse actors would be moving forward, and the rest of the action would be backwards.
See, it helps in situations like this to have like an almost NFL running back doing this crazy shit.
Oh my god!
And then furthermore, I mean, that's what we're talking about with Nolan. You get some truly creative and fucked up shit.
I thought that they had just been doing cute shit with like just cutting and pasting and stuff. But you're saying that there were just people legitimately like running backwards, like.
I think so.
Bruce Campbell and Evil Dead 2 style.
Yes. Fucking insane.
That stuff's fun.
Oh my god! Now I love the movie even more than I loved it before.
Yeah. It reminds me of the old days when we made videos, Sean. We did one where we pretended to be slow-mo.
Yes!
It was really funny.
This was inspired by the wonderful film, The Raid. Maybe you've seen it.
Yes.
If you haven't seen it, for God's
classic.
sake, see it. But there's one part where they didn't have a slow-mo camera. He wanted to do a super slow-mo, but they didn't have it. So he just told the guy to move really slow, and then they slowed that down a little bit. Like he's like holding a shotgun and he shoots the shotgun, but that was just him sort of pretending to be very slow, which is just awesome shit. Just really good shit.
Even slower.
Just move like a slow person would, please.
Yeah.
It can't all be possible, Michael.
I'm still floored by all this info I'm getting.
More info?
Analog Mike knows everything about this movie. He said they had to choreograph the hallway fight forwards and backwards. I was like, whoa, that is crazy to think about. That is wild.
I can't even imagine how that happened. Also, I was reading about the guy who made the score. He this is like one of those things that is cool but also stupid. Like he wrote part of the score backwards so that they can reverse the score. So it goes.
Yeah, I like that because when it would switch from the red team to the blue team, it would go. I was like, oh, that's a good way to.
I thought it was just IKEA ass Hans Zimmer. I didn't know he was putting this much stuff into it. The score didn't like blow me away, but it was like less. It wasn't like Dark Knight where it's like, God damn it, Hans Zimmer, you think you're gonna get away with playing one note over and over again, and then he kind of does. And it's like shit.
He really
did.
Kind
of irritates.
He killed it.
What's not all?
I think.
Glamours and glimmers, boys.
No.
There were some downsides to ye old Tenet. Sean, what didn't you like? What were your low men?
My low main is, as it always is with Nolan, it is just exposition.
Yeah.
And I think the sort of inherent problem in many of his movies, almost all of his movies, is that you cannot understand them, or many of them, without the exposition. Right. But also the exposition is so heavy-handed. Like the worst one for me is in Interstellar where they like explain wormholes. It's like
the worst.
on the flipping what's it called? The dry erase board that flips.
Yes.
That was the big twist in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty exciting.
But in this, it is also like I think the problem I have with it is also one of its features. Like the problem is that the stuff they say doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
But I don't care, which is the
Right.
tough part because
that's why I think you could cut it.
Oh yeah, for
wonder.
sure.
Like the Aaron Taylor Johnson scenes before the temporal pincer battle or whatever the fuck the guy's saying. Like that shit.
Yeah.
Honestly, I like this movie because it's like a cool James Bond movie in time, but like I totally get it if somebody's like, when we get to that point, fuck this movie. Because I don't even know what's happening anymore. Like I honestly didn't. Like I had no clue at this point what is happening.
Oh yeah.
And the guy's attempts at explanation were even more asinine to me than just going in blind. Like, you know, I really don't want to do this, but like, in what world is there going to be like faceless Kenneth Branagh bad guys fighting to destroy realities? Like, I can't believe that there were like teams of good guy and bad guy soldiers, and that's fine. We should just have them be teams of good guy, bad guy soldiers who are fighting for, you know, teams of mercenaries fighting for unbeknownst reasons, not have them like, no, it just gets so convoluted and insane that it like to have the scene where you attempt to explain it and then it's like, you know, curiously inaudible and then moving in a, you know, elliptical circles that don't make much sense either. It's almost like a disservice. It was almost like self-parody mode, I felt like. I was like, God damn, Nolan. Maybe Nolan just doesn't read his own press. Because he tripled down. He tripled down.
Oh yeah, that was also just like a rough part for me. It was like so many scenes I would just be like, I don't think I needed to hear any of that, or like,
I don't mind those scenes that much just because everyone is very well dressed and they got cool clothes and they look cool. And so, and also like, I think usually they are, if not propulsive, they are leading towards the next exciting heist. Like they feel like they are kind of tumbling toward, for me at least, they feel like, okay, the reason we're talking about this is because a thing is about to happen. Hey, that is essentially what the exposition is. Hey, we're about to do a thing, so it's important to know that this thing is going to happen and this thing is going to happen. So that maybe while you see it, you'll understand.
But in this movie, like, he literally takes the biggest moment that should be show, don't tell, which is the moment where the protagonist figures out that he works for himself all along. That he is the, you know, the mind behind Tenet. And he literally just does that just by having him say it in the back of a car.
Yes.
You know, there are ways for you to have that reveal, even if it's in something as lazy as a flashback. But that works more than having someone just say it. So, but Nolan, I mean, he obviously is just like, nope, this is how I want to do it. I like to shoot people talking in rooms. And I like to shoot people fighting backwards, forwards, inverted time space battles. And those are the two things I like to do. And I'm going to shoot those two things. And fuck yeah if you don't care. Because he does have a cool reveal with Elizabeth Debicki being the girl who simultaneously sees the woman jump off the boat and simultaneously is the woman.
Yeah, I like that one.
So he shows us that he can do it. The crux of his first movie, Memento, because he's one of these stunted artists, like I've been saying, who tells the same story over and over again. The thing about Memento is Guy Pearce finds out that he is the protagonist and the antagonist of this story. You know, this is a trick that he's been playing over and over and over again in every movie except for Dunkirk and the shitty Insomnia remake thing. This is just what he does, and I guess he's just going to do it his way till he runs out of till he runs out of literal film, which might happen. They might make him shoot on digital at this rate.
He runs out of film. That'd be great. There's no more film, sir. I'm sorry.
Into the conversation something wild. I hope you guys can handle it. A fan theory. Now we usually don't.
God damn it.
We usually do not talk about fan theories, but this one is so stupid that I love it. And this is a fan theory.
I have 88 ounces of fucking unsweet tea in my bladder right now.
Oh my god!
Once you hear this fan theory, you are gonna piss. You know what?
If you, wait,
This
wait,
is the
wait.
fan theory.
If you just invert your penis, it'll shoot back up.
Yes, the fan theory is gonna be so good that it's gonna enter your
urethra,
lungs.
Oh.
Yeah.
Slightly more pleasant.
You're gonna be backed up. This is the fan theory, which is so stupid that I can't stop thinking about it. Elizabeth Debicki's son. That's Robert Pattinson. That's the fan theory.
Oh,
and there is actually no basis in the text.
I'm gonna go pee.
Oh, is he peeing? Okay. He's going to pee mid. Is he
Yeah, he's going.
No, I'm back. I'm just kidding.
He's peeing right now.
And the reason I love it
At
is
his
because
seat.
the entire thing is nonsense. So you might as well add one more layer of complete nonsense.
Yeah.
That's as bad as like all of the theories in that Shining documentary about all the theories in the Shining.
Oh yes, yes. But all the ones in that Shining documentary are wonderful because they're so stupid.
I wonder if this movie is actually about fake moon landings. That's better than the Debicki son theory, honestly.
Debicki's son. Ooh, moon, sun.
Sun Moon.
Sun Moon.
Oh.
I mean, it's as likely as anyone else being Robert Pattinson in the past. So.
It's also interesting to me how little you are given about everybody in the movie, even though there's a lot of talking about things that are happening. Like the protagonist doesn't even have a name. He's just the protagonist.
Yeah.
His character is catch a bullet with his hand and doesn't drink on the job.
Yes.
The end.
He's just complete badass, and that's all he does. He can do pull-ups off of any pole that he can find. And he can even do it backwards.
Yeah.
By the way, I didn't even mention this part. This is... I can't go all the way back to Euros, but I am.
Son of a bitch.
I'm sorry. John David Washington, decides he's going to save some shit, and he goes backwards. And him going backwards, I love also. The sequence where he has to go back to the speed heist that he has already been through.
That's the good shit.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It's really fucking good.
I love when Kenneth Branagh like realizes it. And he's like, huh? That was really good.
Yeah, exactly.
But because then you remember earlier he counted that down. He was like 3, 2, 1.
A 3, a 2, a 1.
A 2.
Michael, what did you hate, old boy?
What did not? No, I actually really had a good time. Other than I think we kind of already covered it. A lot of those exposition scenes, and then there was one. I think it's mostly the actor, the lead, just felt a little. Other than the action scenes, he just was kind of like.
He's not asked to do very much
else.
Yes.
And usually, so he plays kind of. So I feel like in most Nolan movies, Christopher Nolan casts someone who's supposed to be Christopher Nolan in the lead. It's like usually a blonde guy with a sweepy haircut and impeccably dressed, and he's like kind of like an emotionless cipher who we're supposed to project all of our feelings onto, but then we're supposed to also buy into the emotional values and struggle of that guy, and it usually doesn't work. In this movie, I feel like Robert Pattinson is Christopher Nolan. And having him as like an international man of intrigue that is kind of off center, to me was a lot more fun than having the protagonist be. I don't want to say protagonist because that's the character in this movie. Nolan, fuck you, Christopher Nolan. We can't even talk about this fucking movie because you named the protagonist God damn
protagonist.
John David Washington's character.
Yeah.
Like it's, I don't know. I feel like. To me, with the exception of the exposition, it's like he almost figured out his formula to make the most entertaining possible movie that he keeps making over and over again.
Yes.
And I think by having because it was kind of like the Tom Hardy character from Inception dialed up to 11 on Nolan was what Robert Pattinson was. Just a really cool motherfucker who had a ton of charisma, and then. I think that the little bait and switch with his character, with the Robert Pattinson character, probably could have been pulled off a lot smoother as well. He kind of did the landing with that. I mean,
Yeah.
There's a lot of things in this movie that you see coming. Like I feel like you
Oh
see
yeah.
you realize that the the fight in the airport is against themselves fairly early.
Yeah.
Probably pretty much from that moment where Robert Pattinson doesn't execute who he's
Yeah.
fighting. You kind of realize that
Yeah.
pretty early on, but I don't think it if anything it probably makes the movie more enjoyable for most people because it makes you feel smart.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of times that's what Nolan is making. He's making movies that are kind of dumb that make you feel smart,
Yeah.
and that's okay. I think that's cool and fun.
One cool thing about
Yes.
the airport heist that I do like, and that is twisty past where I thought it would be twisty, is that John David
Mm.
Washington is both people. He
Right.
he has
Yeah.
gone through the twisty turny backwardsizer, and he is he's the people that they think are two people is just one guy who's gone backwards again
Yeah.
already. And I
That
like
was
that as
fun.
like a wait, what? Uh-huh.
So that was such a twist on a twist that I still don't really understand what you said.
Oh,
But
yes,
that's the
exactly.
power of
Well,
Nolan.
oh yeah. Well, because I at first thought I was like, oh, they fought each of their old
Yes.
selves, but it's just them fighting
Yeah.
him
They're both just fighting
back.
the same guy
Yeah,
somehow.
which
Oh,
is
see, I don't even
wild.
think I
Yeah, I was
realized
like,
that.
that's fun.
That
Yeah,
is
I was like,
cooler.
ooh, that's
Yeah.
cool. And then you like, because I was like, is Robert Pattinson like a bad guy for letting that guy go? And
Yes.
then I was like, oh yeah, because he knew him,
They were best friends.
and he really knew him because they were, yeah,
I
besties. And
Yeah, go
which, yeah, it kind of helps with the lack of character development because you're like, well, they know each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah, but they kind of give that away
Yeah.
pretty early, also. But it's fucking.
Yeah.
I'd rather them do shit like that than just tell us later. Like
Yes.
I'd rather it be
Ugh.
kind of these clumsy plot devices and narrative devices than just be like, I realize that I am the head of TENET.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
I'm
sit in the
Tenet.
back of this limo. Like that's. I'd rather have it be kind of cliche twists and turns. Ultimately, these are like huge giant blockbusters with
Mm.
billionaire companies playing with their toys. These are the Bond movies of today, and this is what I want out of my
Yes.
Bond movies of today. I mean, I prefer this type of action movie to any other. So I don't really have a problem with it kind of reaching for the stars, not to make a shitty Interstellar joke. I'd rather him make this movie than try to make 2001.
Yeah.
I'd rather him make this movie than try to make Saving Private Ryan or Battle of the Bulge. Even though I do think ultimately Dunkirk is better. Like these are the movies I want to see out of Christopher Nolan.
Mhm.
That and more Batman
I
movies because
agree.
I'm a incel loser and I love Bane.
Oh,
Bane is my religion.
It made me think like, oh, Robert Pattinson could do a really good Batman, and it sucks now that Christopher Nolan isn't doing it because they work really
Ooh,
well
that would be a good
together.
combo pack. I think
Um,
Adrian will make a good Batman, right?
Sure, yeah. Who cares?
It'll
I
be
think
pretty
so.
interesting.
Let's ride.
Yeah, who gives a
Okay,
shit?
this is a potential low main or Euro, and I want to talk about
Ooh.
it. It is a Euro
Okay.
for me. This final silly talk between Pattinson and John David Washington when
Mm-hmm.
Pattinson is revealing that they've been friends for a long time and shit. And he says, this looks like the end of a beautiful friendship, and this kind of like really hacky shit that for some reason I just love, maybe because Robert Pattinson is so charming
Yeah.
that it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Like, it's
he
kind
pulled
of
it off.
dumb, but I love it anyway because it just seems like the kind
Yeah.
of thing that kind of uh, uh,
Just
a
talk
man
more, you
would say.
beautiful, sparkly vampire
Yes,
motherfucker.
exactly. Do you hate that part? I like it a lot, but I can see how it could be
I don't.
hated.
I don't hate that part because the only chemistry in the entire film is John David Washington and Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
John David Washington has a fucking scene with Michael Caine that is tailor made, pun intended, to play to every strength Michael Caine has.
Yeah.
And it lands like a plopping turd.
Oh yeah.
I'm telling you, there's not a lot of chemistry going on in this movie. So those guys, they got it, and so those scenes,
Yeah.
those are not going to be your bad scenes in the movie. Those guys, they had it going on. There was like an energy between them.
I love like different race couples. Like it really was good for me to see that represented.
Oh,
yeah, I was like,
that's
wow.
not the joke I was making earlier, you sons of bitches.
It was. It had to be, right?
Michael, you should like the Oreo blast.
Hey, Michael, don't you like black and white cookies? Fellas, before we go, I want to ask, do you have any other things to say about Tenet before I say things?
Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, we do have one lo mein from the Kill Donkeys. Analog Mike said the worst park in the world is the worst part. Yeah. Easily. He said how Neil explains how the algorithm will destroy the entire world, and then Kat says, including my son. Which is really stupid. It's a really bad line.
Yikes.
So,
I agree. And
Gary.
My son.
And my son? Question mark.
May even be.
Who you may have forgotten is in this film.
That would be. Yeah.
You're my son.
That's really. Yeah, what if she was like, my son, Neil?
Like, her son and everything almost feels like a note by a producer. Like, we need stakes here.
Yeah, what if there's a son?
Yeah, put a son in there.
Okay.
Sure, why not?
The future.
So dumb. This isn't really a lo mein, but Gary said the exposition reminded him of a Kojima game, and I agree. Like, the guy made like Metal Gear Solids and Death Stranding. It does feel like that kind of ephemeral, just like who gives a shit?
This movie has Kojima vibes, man.
Yeah, I felt like it was an anime. I was feeling anime vibes too.
Everything every emotion is big, yet empty, vast, yet thin. But for me, I mean, that's the type of shit I'm looking for, man. I like that cold steel. Give it to me.
Yeah, cold steel.
Put it in my mouth. I have one last lo mein.
Yeah.
But I also have a post Euro. I'm having another Euro after my lo
post lo mein Euro happens all the time.
So, yeah, because you get hungry again.
You're inverted.
I thought the worst line of the whole movie, and it's because I've seen it in maybe 5,000 other movies, is when the guy what's his name? Denzel Washington's son. Is that really his son?
So.
Hard to tell.
What is Denzel like 1,000? That's crazy.
Fertile at a young age.
Okay. How weird that we watched a Denzel and then
it's in the air.
Child Denzel. That's weird. Okay. Anyways,
if you put Denzel Washington in this movie, this would be my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah. What if he played the protagonist? Oh, he should have played Kenneth Branagh. He should have actually been him older.
He would have been great.
He's the protagonist, but old.
Fighting backwards. You want me to do what?
No. No. He's not gonna do it. Okay, sorry. The protagonist is getting manhandled, and he goes, "Easy, fella. Where I'm from, you buy me dinner first." And that has been, I've heard that line countless number of times. I was like, that doesn't, just don't even say it. Just don't talk. But okay, final thing that I loved is when protagonist is finally back in the car with Priya when she was gonna go kill the lady at the end, and then I just love how she grabs the mirror and turns it as she gets shot. I was like, that was a really nice move, film wise. Kind of reminded me of in Dark Knight when that lady gets blown up in her car. Like she gets a little letter from Joker. That kind of vibe.
You love when people get blown up.
Love it. I think that one's my favorite. That and Dunkirk are my two favorites.
I'm a Dark Knight Rises man. Bane forever.
You
should hate that movie. It's not that good.
It's so
but
bad.
Tom Hardy's got a mask on and that motherfucker.
Yes.
There's only a few characters that indelible in the history of man.
Yeah, and speaking of Tom Hardy, there's a scene in this movie where Kenneth Branagh explains how he's going to cut off protagonist's balls and put them in his throat, and it reminded me of the scene in Venom where he's explaining how he's going to kill the robber for 10 minutes.
Like a turd in the wind.
Like a turd.
So it's a cool crossover.
What if in this movie Tom Hardy plays the Kenneth Branagh character but uses the voice and demeanor of his performance in that new Capone movie. And or Venom.
And or
what if it's just Bane? Different picture.
Yeah. I always want more Tom Hardy in every movie.
Yeah, his best was in Dunkirk. He was completely silent.
I have him now.
Great performances of all time, and you just cover his face. You don't see his face the whole fucking time.
They should have had John David Booty Washington just wear that cool goddamn face guard the whole time. Never say a fucking word. Go full autistic like Ryan Gosling in Drive.
Yes.
No jokes, no love interest, just cold steel right down Michael's throat.
Cold. Yes. Like a carrot that's been hidden in my water bottle, sliding right down my throat.
We love talking about movies. We talked about Tenet, but we want to talk about other movies, and we're going to put up a poll. These will be the options so far, at least. Possessor, we still haven't watched it.
Okay.
Judas and the Black Messiah, the newest, hottest, Lakeith Stanfield and Daniel Kaluuya.
I think
story of Fred Hampton.
Can we put Psycho Gorman on there?
Fred Hampton.
Yes, let's put Psycho Gorman. I've been hearing a lot of things about Psycho Gorman.
I haven't heard of it.
It looks gooey.
Does Unhinged fall off since it did not meet the requirements of me fixing the poll?
No, Unhinged can be on there.
I don't care.
I don't care. I still don't know what that is.
It's Russell Crowe in a fat suit.
Oh, great.
You're welcome.
Russell Crowe just got fat. He's not.
I could watch that.
He's in a fucking fat suit.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Who cares?
If you love this episode as much as we love talking, would you head on into your app, whatever you're on right now, give us the most amount of stars, I'm going to say 5, and type us a wonderful review that says, I love this episode.
Please.
I love hearing these wonderful boys talk about their movies. And also, follow us on Twitter at Food Court Cast. Follow us on Instagram at Food Court Movie Podcast. And just engage with us. We love when you tweet at us. We love when you, by the way, reminder, tell us about your favorite blast and try to blow me out of the water and say, hey, the Oreo blast sucks shit, you fucking idiot. Please tell me that the Oreo blast sucks shit, you fucking idiot. Tweet that at me right now. And go vote in our poll. And most importantly, for Michael, for John, from me, Sean, bon appetit.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
That's Tenet for goodbye.
It is.